Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of Tanner's Top Reads. In this series, I'm going to go over some of my picks of what looks good to read, also the Diamond Gem of the Months. So let's get right into it. First of all, I'm going to go through the Diamond books. First off, we got King in Black number 5. So far, King in Black has been really good. You know, Null's a really cool villain. He's one of the top tier kind of Thanos level threats. And it's going to be exciting to see how this all plays out in the end. I know Donny Cates is awesome. Coming up on Venom 200, that's going to be a big deal, so it's going to be exciting how King in Black is going to affect coming into that. Next up on the Diamond Gem of the Month, Carmen, number 1. This is by Image Comics. It is a urban fantasy supernatural. It's about an angel named Carmen that takes a woman under her wings. Up next, this one is both on the Diamond list and my personal list. This is Noctera number 1. This is another Image book written by Scott Snyder. It is a cosmic horror, kind of post-apocalypse, monsters everywhere kind of deal, and people are just trying to survive. It looks great. The artwork looks great. Tony Daniel and Tommy Morey. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I tried. But those are the artists on the book. It looks great. Scott Snyder is one of my favorite writers, so just about anything by him looks great to me. Up next, this one also is on the Diamond Gem of the Month and my personal list, is Orphan and the Five Beasts. We've got a fantasy kung fu kind of book. This one's coming out from Dark Horse. So this follows an orphan as he goes out to kill the 5 former disciples of his master, who are threatening the land with evil and trying to bring these demons into the world and stuff like that. It looks really cool. The artwork looks really unique. The kung fu mysticism is just awesome. It should be a really fun story. Coming up next from the Gem of the Month, this is another Dark Horse book, Critical Role Tales of Exandria number 1. So for this, the cover looks cool. It's all based on the Critical Role universe. If any of you guys are familiar with that, there are a bunch of Dungeons and Dragon players on YouTube. You can check them out and kind of get an insight of what the story is going to be about, but it's all fantasy based. It should be pretty cool. Diamond Gem of the Month. Up next for Gem of the Month is Vampirella vs. Purgatoria number 1. I have not read much of the Vampirella stuff as of to date, but I do like a lot of the other Dynamite books like Red Sonja. So this is a horror adventure. Be sure to follow along as Vampirella tries to defeat the evil known as Purgatoria. So lastly, on the Gem of the Month picks, Proctor Valley Road number 1. This is written by Grant Morrison and Alex Child, illustrated by Naomi Frankitz. This is another horror book. It's about these kids that go exploring this haunted stretch of road and stuff goes wrong. The cover options look really cool. The interiors look very well done. It's very creepy, very horror-y. Should be good. So now that we've gone through all of the Diamond picks, we're going to go back through and just go through some of my personal picks. Omega. This is an Image book written by James Herron, artist James Herron and Dave Stewart. This is one thing that's really cool about this is every issue is going to be an oversized book, and it's basically people randomly turn into kaiju. It's all about big monsters. The Ultra Mega are 3 individuals imbued with incredible powers to hold the line against this madness. So, you like kaiju? You like Ultra Mega. So, we know that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin has been a pretty big deal. The director's cut is going to be coming out in March, so that should be really good too. But sticking with Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Best of Michelangelo is going to be my personal choice. Mikey's my favorite turtle. This should be really fun. You know, all the turtle stuff that IDW's been doing is really cool, so we'll give this a check. James Bond, Agent of Spectre, number 1. This is a Dynamite book. James Bond is one of the coolest dudes out there. That's just part of being James Bond. So we'll take a look at this number 1, see if it's any good. Red Sonja 25. Red Sonja is one of my favorite characters. 25 is going to be the jumping on point for the next story arc. So if you haven't known where to start and you don't want to buy a bunch of back issues, 25 is going to be your place to start. Then coming in with Aftershock Comics, we have Maniac of New York number 2. I missed the number 1, but I'll try and track it down and get it read also. But this is about a slasher killer in New York City that haunts the subway and is murdering people. So it's a horror book. Comes out March 10th. Like I said, I'll try and track down number 1 also and give it a read before our next video. From SourcePoint Press, we have Cult of Dracula number 1. This is about a special agent arrives at the House of Rising Sun, a secluded compound that is home to the secretive Ordo Dracul and the scene of a horrendous crime. So this should be cool, kind of a crime mystery into the Cult of Dracula. And my last choice out of the independent publishers section, this one's actually a manga, is Stitch and the Samurai Volume 1. So this is kind of a alternate reality where Stitch lands in feudal Japan instead of modern day Hawaii. So this should be a lot of fun, just seeing the Disney character interact with these historical Japanese samurai. So now with those out of the way, we're going to get into my Marvel picks. First off, we have Alien number 1. This one's highly anticipated, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and art by Salvador Larroca. This is, like I said, this is highly anticipated for anyone who enjoys sci-fi. The interior art is something that I think very much sticks with the whole Alien Geiger feel and will do the franchise justice. Also, I have Ultraman number 1, just because it looks cool. Let's see what Ultraman's bringing to the table. This is going to be written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, art by Francesco Manna. Up next, we have Carnage Black, White, and Blood number 1. I think the other Black, White, and Bloods have been pretty cool, and Carnage is a perfect character to do something a little more edgy along those lines. Next, we have another one of my favorite characters, Silk number 1. This is going to be a 5-part miniseries. I think Silk is a character that doesn't get near as much love as she deserves, and I'm very much looking forward to this book. So you can look for that coming in March also. Also, we have the number 2 of Avengers Mech Strike. This is one I have on my pull box, so I plan on reading number 1. Number 2 looks great too. Giant monsters, giant robots. What more could you ask for? Up next is X-Men Legends number 2. So at the time of recording this, Legends number 1 comes out tomorrow, so I'll give that a read also. Any of the retro X-Men, it's cool. It reminds me of my childhood. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get a good story out of this. Demon Days X-Men number 1. This is going to be written and illustrated by Peach Momoko. Her stuff is really big right now. The art it's beautiful. I really dig the whole feudal Japan setting. So now we have another character going back to the feudal Japan setting. We're going to see Psylocke as a wandering swordswoman fighting demons feudal Japan. It looks awesome. Children of the Atom number 1 is going to be a pretty important book. There's going to be several new characters in this, all making their first appearances. So be sure to pick that up and give it a read also. We'll see if any of these new characters are going to be any good. Now, for those of you who have followed the store for a while, know that Darren is a huge X-Men fan. Well, I am a Spider fan as big as he is an X-Men fan. So I will be picking up both the Amazing Spider-Man 61 and 62, giving those a read, and we'll be talking about that later when they come out. Speaking of the Spider-Verse, Nonstop Spider-Man number 1. This one should be pretty action-packed. Written by Joe Kelly, art by Chris Bachalo. Should be lots of fun. Anything action-packed in Spider-Verse should be real cool. And then lastly, for this month, we have Star Wars High Republic. High Republic number 1 was awesome. They're setting up this really cool universe, and it's all new characters. Yoda's the only established character, and he's not even that important to it so far. Seeing these new characters in this new kind of Star Wars setting is going to be real cool. It's something we haven't seen before, and we'll be continuing to follow the story as it progresses. So here are my picks for DC. Harley Quinn is getting her own ongoing series written by Stephanie Phillips and illustrated by Riley Rossmo. This is going to be starting in March also. Joker number 1 is getting an ongoing written by James Tynion IV. James is the writer responsible for the Punchline stuff here more recently. And so these are my DC picks. We'll go over those once they come out in March. So thank you guys for listening. Be sure to drop in the comments some of the books that you're excited to read. Maybe I'll give those a read too, and we'll talk about those when everything comes out. If you like the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, all the things. And tune in later for more of Tanner's Top Reads.